What is up, everybody? You know what time it is. It is time for Shooting the Shit Uncensored, baby. And it is me, the dad bod god, the bald, the beard, the beautiful Piers Austin. And tonight, my guest is making his return on Shooting the Shit Uncensored. I am really excited to have on the Rapscallion himself, Mick Moretti. But before I bring on the wonderful Mick Moretti, I'm going to take a quick pause for the cause to thank those sponsors that help keep these lights on up in this bitch, because you know these fancy colored lights aren't cheap to run. First up is sleefs.com. That's SLEEFS.com. Now, if you or someone you know is an athlete, you need to go and check out sleefs.com. They've got armbands, compression pants, compression shorts, joggers, headbands, mouth guards. Guys, they've even got dirty boxes with big fucking elephant trunks on the front of them. If that doesn't excite you guys, nothing will. And I must say, they sent me a bunch of these dirty boxes, and they are the most comfortable boxes that I own. They breathe well. They're very, I'm an active guy. I'm always running after my kids. I'm running around, and they never get, any uncomfortability with it at all. So guys, check out sleeps.com. And you know what? You'll get 10% off your final purchase if you use promo code MWA pod. So head over to sleeps.com, baby, and get yourself some dirty boxes. But next up is healthvape.com. Now, guys, if you're like me, you're a vapor person, I'm one of those douchebags. I puff on this vape, I chuck clouds up, I'm an ex-cigarette smoker. But guys, healthvape.com is your healthy vaping alternative. This is the thing that is going to get me off this vape, get me away from all that nasty shit. All of their products are no nicotine, no harmful or addictive chemicals, and they are vitamin infused. You can get an energy booster, you can get a boost one, a vitality one. It'll restore energy in your body as well, apparently. So guys, check out healthvape.com. Use promo code MWA pod, and we'll give you that 10% discount on checkout. But guys, as well, if you want to get an exclusive first look at Shooting the Shit Uncensored with me, the dad bod god, you need to head over to the Realm Network, the Vince Russo now owned and run Realm Network. You get my show as well as other shows on the MWA podcast network, like Killing the Business with former ECW original, the Kingpin, Angel motherfucking Medina, where every single week he is breaking down the news, him, Mega, and Sexton, and these guys are covering everything. And let's face it, Angel's one guy that you can't really restrain him. He just starts talking and starts firing shit off. It's an entertaining show, and it's definitely worth the watch and listen to, guys. But also, guys, if that still ain't enough, check out Get Funked, hosted by former WCW and TNA star Alan Kwee Funk. He has on a lot of amazing guests. If you are a wrestling enthusiast, you're someone who enjoys the throwback of wrestling, like the WCW days, he has on some amazing guests from his time in WCW, guys he trained with in the power plant, and they tell some amazing, hilarious stories. He's just had on Lenny Lane, he's had on above average Mike Sanders, and many more, guys. So make sure you head over and get an exclusive first look at that. And guys, we got one more show you need to check out, and that's Knights of the Gimmick Table, hosted by the Dead Presidents, Boogaloo and Lowrider. If you haven't heard of the Dead Presidents, these guys are indie wrestling legends. They've traveled all up the United States, all around the United States, I should say. They're one of the most respected tag teams in the American Indies today and in the last 20 years. So make sure you go and check out their show as well, guys. You will not be disappointed. But guys, tonight, my guest, the one, the only, Mick Moretti. Mick, welcome back.
Oh brother. My God, Piers, I was just totally ordering my dirty boxes in Health Vape. Oh yeah,
brother.
What's up, bro?
Mate, not much. It's really good to see you again, man. Thank you for coming on for a part 2, man. It's been a long time.
Been a minute. Man, when was our first one? When was that? Do you remember?
Dude, I want to go back, and I'm just probably going to have a look at our DMs.
Oh, here we go. Oh, that's smart. That's smart.
It was back in July, so it's been.
Okay.
Was it July this year? Yeah, it was July this year, I think.
So. It was July. Okay, that's a bit more recent than I might have thought.
Yeah. Hey, no, it must have been July last year. No,
I was going to say, it feels like it's been a while.
October last year. It does.
Okay, that makes a little more sense.
Well, the shows that I've gone to, man, you know, you don't really I haven't seen you around after the shows that much, so I haven't had a chance to say, hey, what's up?
Yeah,
but
yeah,
mind
yeah.
you, the matches you've had, you've absolutely torn the house down. So
well, thank you.
must have been very exhausting as well, man. But how you been coping with lockdown, brother?
Look, as good as anyone can, I guess. Just trying to do my best, trying to keep my chin up, eyes forward. You know, I've reached an age where it's terrifying, man. Like, I've worked my whole life to get to where I am with wrestling and try to contribute what I have to Australian wrestling and think, okay, this is where I am. And I've turned down some opportunities that might have sent me here or there because I'm like, no, this is my plan for the next few years. So for this to kind of come in and just put all of that to a screeching halt, and we have no idea when the end is, like, I'm not exactly at an age where I'm just going to keep getting scooped up, and it's terrifying. And that's kind of what bugs me out the most is, like, I'm terrified that I'm not going to be able to get back to where I was. But in spite of that, I think, no, just keep doing what you're doing. Look after yourself now. I'm trying to keep myself healthy. I'm trying to fix some of the ailments in my body so that when things do get back to normal, I can try and hit the ground running and, you know, focus on the things that have always been important, like building what we've got here. Like, even if we can't travel, maybe the next few years I can't go overseas just yet. Okay, so be it. You better believe I'm going to make Australia the hottest place for pro wrestling. Like, it's just about refocusing and making sure I've got my eyes set on the prize, getting after that shit, and then doing whatever the fuck it is that I can. You know,
well, man, you look like you're in fantastic shape, by the way. Like,
I'm doing all right.
Like, you're keeping fit, man.
I'm a very lucky man. I have the metabolism of a horse just cause. Like, my whole life, I've been very fortunate. I can eat whatever the fuck I want. Like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I can have 77 Big Macs and I'll probably lose weight.
I hate you.
Yeah, I get that a lot, man. Yeah. Which, look, it always made it a struggle when I was going through the stages where I was like, all I want to do is get bulky. Like, I could not put on weight. Like, the heaviest I ever got was 91, 92 kilos, and that took it out of me to get to there. Now I'm at about 86, 87 shoot weight, and that's where I stay. That's my body's comfortable level. I can train hard or I can take a few weeks off. It doesn't really change. This is kind of just where I stay. I'm super into, like, different kinds of fasting, intermittent fasting, extended fasting and stuff now, because I think that does my body really well. It's changed my relationship with food. When was it? It would have been start of this year, maybe January, February. I did a 7-day fast. I just went 7 days, no food, no calories at all. Just water and, like, salted water where you put sodium and potassium and a bunch of different chemicals in the water to keep you mineralized, but no calories for 7 days. And I fucking smashed the shit out of it. And it's changed my relationship with food, because now when I'm sitting around and I'm like, oh, I'm hungry. I'm like, no, you're fucking not. You're not hungry. You'll be fine. And then I can focus myself on whatever else needs to be done, because I don't need to eat then and there. It's going to be okay. Like, the whole thing with fasting that fascinates me, right? To look at it in a simple structure, how many years that humans have existed, mostly in the way that we are now, have we actually had access to regular food and had these planned meals, versus how often we were hunting food and eating whenever the fuck we could? You know what I mean? Like, the percentage difference is massive. Our bodies are more used to not eating all the time, so it makes sense that I don't have to eat all the time. So it's kind of just helped me, you know, keep myself on board. And I think that structure helps keep my body fit, even in the times where I can't necessarily train as often as I'd like. I've only got very limited resources in my house. So I think that ties together with keeping my metabolism going and then making the most out of the training that I am doing.
And that's the thing, like, you know, you mentioned, like, the intermittent fasting and 7-day fasting. And I think as well, like, people, like, straight away, I was like, 7 days without eating. Whoa, like,
crazy.
But the human body can take so much, and it's like,
yeah,
it's the same as, like, when people look at, like, combat sports athletes and they're going, how can someone get punched in the face? It's like, well, the human tolerance to pain, the human tolerance to fasting and stuff like that is much greater than people actually realize. Like, getting punched isn't going to be the end of your life. Well,
yeah,
hopefully it won't be the end of your life, but it depends who's punching you, you know?
Yeah. But yeah, it's crazy like that. Like, we're such a contradictory being. We're both so fragile, yet so impressive at the same time. It kind of blows my mind with those kinds of things. And I'm really fascinated at kind of looking into that kind of shit. Like, I've had friends that have done eating challenges and they eat a burger this fucking big and they smash it. I'm like, I could never do that. I can't. But motherfucker, I went 7 days without eating. Can you do that? And they're like, not for shit, bro. So it's like, you know, everyone has their different kind of strengths and whatever. But it fascinates me at what our body may or may not be capable of.
Yeah, I saw Kai Drake and Reese Angel on Twitch the other night eating like three Happy Meals, and then Kai Drake has this triple fucking fillet of fish burger, and I'm just sitting there going, I got heartburn just watching that, bro.
That man is a monster. I love that bloke. Like, my favorite eating story with fucking Kai Drake, right, is we go to, I think it was called Good Life Burgers, Good Form, Good something. And like, that's whenever I think of burger this big, I'm literally referencing this story. We go to this place and they've got some mega burger challenge. They're like, if you can eat this burger inside 10 minutes, we put your photo on the wall. Some fucking bullshit, right? The burger, I swear to God, it's this fucking big. I think there was either 6 or 8 patties, like thick motherfuckers, with cheese, with bacon, the whole works, right? And like, if you can eat it inside 10 minutes, you get the whole, you don't even get it for free. Like, what a fucking rort. They just put your photo on the wall. But they come along, they're like, look, the record that someone got was like 7 minutes and something seconds. And we're pretty sure around the country, like the big record someone put online was like 4 minutes and something, or 5 minutes. And we're like, okay. In come Kai fucking Drake, this monster, right? He peels the burger apart. He picks up a patty, and it's like it's a fucking cinnamon scroll. She's like, hung. He just spirals his way around that shit, puts it in his mouth, and it's gone. And on to the next one. And he dips it in his water to wet it and make it soft. He's got the bread going. This gross. Motherfucker is like blowing everyone's minds. We're like, blah! The staff are outside like, what the fuck's going on? He eats it in like 2 minutes and 40 seconds. Burger's gone. He's like, get the fuck out of here. And then he continues to eat the rest of his chips.
Oh, man. But what's funny is he's not like this massive dude. Like, if you think someone like the guys from Back Pain doing that, it'd be like, no one would bat an eyelid. But you see this guy.
Where does it go? I'll tell you where it goes. It goes into his fucking forehead. That's where it goes. He's a beast. I have a lot of love for that bloke. A lot of love.
Man. Same here, dude. But dude, I gotta ask, man. Like, I saw you on Beauty and the Geek, and I had Bonza on the night that you guys had your spot on Beauty and the Geek.
Yeah.
And my wife, as I've said on this show many times, not a wrestling fan. Like, she's not in. She sat there, watched that, and saw the spot between you and one of the, I think, the South African guy, and he said, your mother must be disappointed because you're a hard-boiled egg. And she, like, your facial reaction, my wife, who was like, had lack of sleep, breastfeeding a baby, almost fell off the couch laughing just at your facial reaction. She's like, who is that guy? I go, that's Mick fucking Moretti. And like, that's why that was the golden. But how did you find that whole process, man? Because it would have been so challenging having all these different matches and remembering people's names, then remembering the match that you have with each couple.
Yeah. Look, I guess that's where experience comes into play and worked in my favor because I've got a lot of experience at remembering that kind of shit. That whole weekend will go down as the most fucked weekend in my entire wrestling career, which I'll kind of get to towards the end. Remind me if I forget, because I will. But yeah, like we had to be at the Factory Theatre at 6 a.m. to start this day. And so that they could run us through what they wanted, this and that, blah, 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 blah. And they wanted to do the intro where they all kind of walked in. They had the ring set up. Luckily, we got to set the ring up the day before. But yeah, they had all their cast come in looking at the ring, and they're like, we want you guys to come out on stage from behind them and spook them. I'm like, perfect. This is the best thing for the Rapscallion because obviously I scared the living fuck out of them. So it'd be like, come out, scare them, intimidate them, and then come to the ring and put on like a quick little exhibition just to kind of really instill the fear in it. I'm like, all right, so me and Osborne just had a quick little spot, and they were just like, oh, shit. But then, so what they did after that, I don't know how much of this I'm allowed to talk about, but fuck it, the show's aired now, who cares?
Bonza went into detail. So
yeah, if they sue us, then, I don't own the company. Go get someone else. So if he's gone into detail, you probably have an idea. Like, we spent the whole day getting paired up with them, and then we ran through the choreography. Luckily, like, the matches were super simple. Like, we could not make it complicated at all. Each one of them got one or two things to do based on their sort of athletic prowess, if you like. And we just kind of took them through the choreography each time. And that was it. It was really straightforward. It was easy to remember because we had like 3 things to remember for each person. I'm used to remembering 20, 30-minute matches. Like, this is chump change as far as remembering that shit. And like, they were a bit, anxious. So we went through it a bunch of times with them. So it was all there. Like, what we didn't get to plan was all the jaw jacking and that kind of stuff. And they were like, yeah, like, when we're practicing, we're going through stuff like, oh, we really want you guys to, give it to them. And I'm like, don't worry, we will. Like, you can't plan that shit. That just has to be there. And we did. And it butts me out because every time any of the nerds said anything to me, I shot them the fuck down. Like, my responses destroyed them. And they didn't show any of those, did they?
Well, Rose actually told me, because I'm good friends with Rose and Gail, and Rose
he said to say, what's up? I was just playing games with him before. As I give Piers my best.
Oh man, but he actually told me, he's like, oh dude, one of the geeks turned around and said, after this you're not going to be able to walk. And he said that to Moretti. I'm like, oh yeah, what Moretti said? He turned around and said, once I'm done with your girl, she ain't going to be able to walk. And I was like, the whole time of that episode, I'm sitting there going, please fucking air it. Like, I was sitting there, I was ready to pop for it.
Fucking smashed him. Yeah, and I mean, like, it's just because we're used, like, thankfully we have experience in that kind of nature, and these guys were not expecting us to fire back like that. But it was a lot of fun. They were really impressive. Given the amount of time that they had, a good majority of them did a great job. Was really supportive. I think my favorite part of the day was the tall bloke, Alex, the one that called me the chicken head, right?
Yeah.
We went through our choreography. He's like, oh, can you please hit me? And I was like, what? He's like, I want you to hit me. And I'm like, bro, you're not really at that level. Like, they can be pretty physical. It's like, oh, come on, man. Like, I can take it. So, just come on. I think it'd be great if you just hit me in the ring. I'm like, all right. I was like, this is what I'm going to do. This is where my arm's going to land. I said, don't flinch or move or turn your face into me because you're going to get fucked up. I was like, just try and trust and just cop it. He goes, okay, great. And we're in the ring and I did it and I went, whack. And he just went bonk and he fell over and just ate shit. And I was like, man, I told you. And then afterwards, like, bro, that was really great. You really fucked me up, hey. And I'm like, bro, I told you. But he loved it. He fucking loved it.
I really like how PWA was represented on the show. And I even said that to Bonza, that it was really represented. Yeah. And this is something we even said with Bonza, is a lot of times with mainstream media, they kind of take the piss out of wrestling a little bit. Whereas I felt that this was done very respectfully for everyone who was involved from PWA from a performers aspect. There wasn't really much. There wasn't any piss taking, which I was.
No, not at all. Yeah, they did great. I think it was almost one of the most perfect shows to come along and do it, because the whole premise of the show is about being genuine and being wholesome. So they didn't want to come in and take the piss. That wasn't their angle. If it was a different kind of show, it could have been a completely backwards affair. But being the show that it was, and sorry, don't mind me. I'm not crazy. There's bugs in my house. Being the kind of show that it was, with the general theme and message that it like to have, they weren't there to try and ruin anything. So they wanted to give us a platform, which we just said, okay. And we came in, open armed on the other end. And I think it all came together perfectly.
Because like a lot of the rumors that I heard, leading up to that show, because I was at the show afterwards that was there, was PWA is about to sign a deal with Channel 9. And straight away I was like going, if that's true, that's fucking brilliant. Like, that's brilliant for PWA and very well deserved.
I love seeing that kind of stuff. And I say this with love, wrestling fans. I really do. You see wrestling fans, they're always like, we know everything. You can't hide anything from us. We know everything. You guys don't know shit. I'm so sorry. That's the perfect example. Like, you will get whispers of things, and there's probably things you do know, but fuck me, there's some things you guys just don't know. And that, like, when things like that happen, I sit in my corner like, you think you know, but you don't.
Yeah, but that's the thing, man. Sometimes when with stuff like that, I just go, you know what? If it's going to happen, I'd like to find out when they want me to find out. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
You know, like I said, I like to sit there and get the element of surprise. When I heard it, I'm like, going, fuck, I really hope that's true, because that'd be amazing for Australian wrestling. It'd be amazing for PWA.
Yeah, definitely.
But the show after that, you know, with the Rumble, you know, you spent, I think it was close to an hour in that Rumble match, you and Wahlberg.
Bro.
Dude, that was a very, very intense night. And I wanted to ask you, because there were moments in there that I was watching, I was like, dude, and now I sort of understand, because you were there for the whole day since 6 a.m. But I actually thought you were injured a couple of times. Did you, obviously, throughout that day, was there any injury or fatigue for you?
I was fucked, bro. Like, by the end of that Rumble, I'm lying in that ring, like, questioning life. I'm like, why the fuck have I done this to myself? And this is what I touched on earlier, and I was like, I'll forget. We had the whole day of doing everything we did with Beauty and the Geek, which in itself wasn't particularly exhausting, but it just meant early morning. I didn't get a lot of sleep the night before. Getting up, doing it all day. It took a lot of attention. It took a lot of energy. Then we had the actual show. So there's always a lot of, like, I'm part of the manager's admin team, if you like, for PWA. Like, I've got some responsibility to have to worry about. And there's always things going on. You're always looking at this and that, whatever. So there's a lot of stress and blah, 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 blah going on in terms of getting the show running. We had to go from that, kicking everybody out, getting the show ready and making sure everything was running smoothly. It was me and Bonzo versus Aussie Open first in the opening match. So we had to fucking get all that shit together. So I had to go out there and then have a banger with these two blokes who just, I don't know if you ever watched Aussie Open, but they, you know, have a reputation for kicking the fuck out of you. So
very stiff guys.
All of that.
In their matches, they're very their striking, everything is just
so crazy. They're physical boys. Like you're in the ring, you're like, yep, okay, I'm here. That's right. Hello. So went through that, and then it was like, oh yeah, you're in the Rumble and you're going bell to bell. Okay, because we can't get the proper payoff match for you and Maddie, unfortunately, so we're going to kind of tie it into the Rumble itself. You guys are going to go the whole way. I'm like, sick. Can't wait. So going through remembering everything for the day, then remembering the match with Aussie Open, then remembering all the spots in the Rumble, I'm like, cool. So when you say, was it hard to remember the shit during the day? No, that was chump change. I had another 3 hours worth of shit to remember. And then after I was like halfway through the Rumble, I'm exhausted, I'm tired, I'm fatigued, my body is beat, my legs cramping, my head's woozy. And I was like, I made a very poor decision coming into this Rumble because everyone's playing their spots and all I'm doing is bumping for everyone. Like, I'm just fucking myself up. And literally by the end of it, there was at one point I was in the corner, like under the bottom rope, just kind of lying there. I couldn't bend my legs because they would cramp immediately and it would seize. So I just kind of had to lie there with my leg just at the right amount of straight while like I'm dizzy as fuck. My fucking arm's sore. At one point, when Jordan hit me with the tripod, my head whipped back and pinched a nerve in my neck and the whole left arm went numb for like 10 seconds. And I'm like, cool, that's normal. So I'm just lying there in the corner. I'd love to say selling, but I wasn't. I was dying. And JT comes over and goes, hey, man, you okay? I was like, no, bro, I'm fucked. Like, and my eyes were like watering. I was fucked. I have not been in that much physical pain in I don't even know how long. And then I knew I had to get through the rest of the match and run the sport with this and that and do the finishing stretch with the guys, and I didn't want it to look shit. So I was just like, fuck me. So when the show ended and then Maddie says to me, like, at the end of the match, don't go anywhere, stay close. And I was like, oh, here we go. Here comes the classic Wahlberg post-show promo of death. Like, when he did the thing and called me into the ring, like, when I said that I was fucked, I was not working anyone. I was proper fucked. Like, it was just, my emotions were on high. I watched the promo back. I'm like, I talked so much nonsense and swore a whole bunch in that, but it's just because I was so, like, adrenaline was the only thing that kept me going. I pretty much got backstage and collapsed and didn't move for like an hour.
You could definitely see that emotion there, and that was one of the like, I wasn't expecting the thing at the end.
Yeah,
and you know, like when Matty sort of did his spiel, hey, I'm leaving. This is what's going on, and then you coming in and saying your thing, you could see that raw emotion. And for me, you know, looking at wrestling, you know, I watch wrestling from all around the world. I haven't seen something with that much emotion. Like, there was literally people with tears in their eyes, like grown-ass men crying. You know what I mean? And like that emotion that you guys were able to draw from that crowd, that final moment, to me was like one of those things that's almost like capturing lightning in a bottle.
Yeah, no, it was great. Like Matty's great at that. He talks so well. He's such a wonderful talker, almost too well to his detriment sometimes. But it was a real shame that we didn't get to have a proper blow off match, because it was in the pipeline. Like we weren't going to tease this whole duck and dodge thing forever. It was meant to happen. But just the way it all played out with lockdowns and delays, and then his visa stuff, and we couldn't say more than what we were allowed to. The way that the cookie crumbled just meant we didn't get to have that one solo match where we were really going to fucking send it. And we had some great ideas for really giving people something of substance for that. So I guess like the emotions of that in the back of our mind was definitely there while we were talking to each other. Like, fuck, we didn't get to really hit this storyline on the head. Like the whole Generation Now thing was never planned. Like it was kind of just a byproduct of circumstance. We're like, fuck, we're stuck here. Our angle's kind of getting interrupted by lockdown. That was never meant to happen. It was just it just almost organically fell into place in the way that he was talking. Like, okay, we're going to roll with this now, because at least it gave us some ongoing story. It was always just going to be me and Matt doing our thing. So it does.
I thought it was good that the way that the Rumble went, because I believe, like I said, I was sitting there going, "Oh, there's not going to be a blow off match," but then it's like, hold on a second. That whole Rumble was the blow off, because it's like, you know what I mean? Like him trying to throw out like other Generation Now member, everything like that.
Right.
He was so
he did. He eliminated every Gen Now member. You know what I mean? It was his big thing.
And the psychology in that, like, if you can understand that, that was like, to me, I was like, you know what? That all makes sense now.
Yeah. Yeah, it came together nicely, all things considered. I would have loved for us to have a good match, because I think we would have fucking killed it. It would have been a great way, because I'd always wanted to work with Matty. He's a man I've got a lot of love and a lot of respect for a lot of different reasons, and I think that match would have really been something, especially coming off the heels of a lot of the bullshit that happened. And, like I know certain people have their opinions, and that's fine, but there's a lot of things that people don't know as well, and they don't know who he genuinely is at the same time. So without going too far into detail, like wanting to be there for him through some of that as well, like just knowing that we had something to kind of work towards was almost a reward, but not getting there. And then just that moment in the ring when he created that group of Gen Now, it is a group of people who want it. And I know the whole storyline was all like, we've given this to you and you guys are just taking it. That was all at surface level. Like they are the most grateful bunch of people. They really are. They work hard. They give back. Like ignore the story, because that's all narrative. They deserve the things that we get. Otherwise they wouldn't be getting them. So to have that moment in the ring where he's like, Mick, you've done this and that, which for me personally hit really well, because not that I do things for gratitude, and I never like to be that prick who's like, you should thank me, this and that. Like I do things for the result. Like it was just nice to get that thankful moment that like I haven't got a lot of, if that makes sense. I sound really ungrateful. I don't mean to, but it's just, you don't get a lot of those moments where someone comes along and goes, hey man, you've done this and we really appreciate it, if that makes sense. So I was super grateful to have that moment and super appreciative of that. So that made it even more emotional in of itself. And then just standing in the ring, looking around at me, it just motherfuckers that I know are the future. I was just like, bro, this is too much.
But you know what? You look at Australian wrestling, and a while ago you started you're going to notice us, and now we conquer. And this past episode of NXT, we've seen 3 Australians have 3 significant spots on the show. The only thing I would have said about I'm going to call him Matty Wahlberg, but I should call him Grayson Waller. But Waller, the only thing I was disappointed with in that match was they didn't give him much to go off. Like he didn't really get to showcase that. But being a wrestling mind, I'm looking at it going, there's a story there that they're building towards, I'm sure. Like I hope they are, because on 205 Live, he's been made to look like a rock star.
Yeah, dude. There's plenty more there. Like I feel like in the modern era, it's so easy for us to just forget the big picture and look at the long term. We've become so addicted to this short form of everything and this short term attention span that we want everything now. Whereas we've got to think, what could the payoff eventually be? And maybe it's worth something else at the end. Maybe it's not going to turn out to be that great. Sure. I'm not going to sit here and say everything's going to be great in the long run, but I feel like too many people forget to say, no, this is going to go somewhere. What does this do in the big picture? I remember when Matty versed Ugg and there was all that hype and then Ugg won and there were so many people, even to this day, I'm pretty sure like Matty should have won. They should have caught him all blah, 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 blah. And it's like, no, that loss made him. That build was like putting the pieces in place, but if he'd won, he would have just sunk again. You know what I mean? Like, look at everyone who becomes a champ and like, yeah, you're so great, and then they're not so great anymore. Ugg was a massive face and became a heel because he was champ. If Matt had won that, he wouldn't have had that like redemption arc. He wouldn't have had that fucking hero in peril arc. He would have just been the guy who got it, and it would not have worked for him the same way that losing did. Like, fuck.
Sometimes it's better to be some guys are better to be the chaser than be the defender.
It gave him so much more drive and gave his character so much more purpose to have lost that. That's the way that
I completely agree with you. I think it definitely gives it more, almost ambition. Like it's like I was this close to beating Ugg, but it makes me want it that much fucking more.
Yeah, exactly. So,
and then it gives the belt more meaning as well.
Dude, Ugg was a monster champion. Monster champion.
But that card as well, like I honestly believe that show was probably one of the best shows that I'd seen in a long time. And I'm not just saying that because you're part of the PWA management team, but even the match with him and Ugg and Ricky South, the build up to that, you know what I mean? Like Ugg, who doesn't talk, Ricky, who's basically doing the promos and building this feud along the way, finally getting that match, then him finally winning the title. Again, the emotion in the audience, like I had people next to me in tears, like crying.
Crazy, really.
Like, and to get that emotion from people is just insane.
Yeah, dude. That's what it's about, isn't it? Like, that's what we want from wrestling. We want to draw those emotions. People forget it's storytelling. Like, at the end of the day, that's what wrestling is supposed to be. We're supposed to be telling a narrative and taking you motherfuckers on an emotional ride.
Oh, absolutely, man. And, I think as well, like, we're looking at some of the other promotions that, are coming around in Australia, like Deathmatch Down Under, really sort of starting to pop their head up. They just started, not too long ago, and they're sort of, solidifying themselves as one of the top promotions already very early on. So, we're definitely seeing a lot of interest there. But guys, while we do take a quick pause for the cause, make sure you do head over to healthvape.com. Use promo code MWAPOD for a 10% discount, guys. Healthvape.com is your healthy vaping alternative, guys. They have no nicotine, no harmful or addictive chemicals in any of their product. And guys, their product is vitamin infused. So make sure you hit up healthvape.com. Use promo code MWAPOD for your 10% discount. And guys, while you're at it, you need to go and check out sleeves.com. Sleeves.com is the one-stop shop for all your athletic wear, guys. They've got headbands, knee sleeves, boots. They've got mouth guards. They've even got dirty boxes, guys. So wherever you are, wherever you're going, make sure you head over to sleeves.com and check out their amazing products. And guys, use promo code MWAPOD for your 10% discount. And guys, as well, while you're at it, you want to get an exclusive first look at all of our shows, Shooting the Shit Uncensored with your boy Piers Austin, where we are going live. We are putting out shows every single week, guys. So make sure you tune into the Realm Network, the Vince Russo now Realm Network. You get my show, you get Killing the Business with King Mega, former ECW original, the Angel, Kingpin Medina, Sexton, and you've also got Knights of the Gimmick Table with the Dead Presidents. And you also have Get Funked Baby, hosted by Alan Kiwi Funk. So make sure you check them out. Mick, welcome back.
We're back. I knew that was going to happen. Why do I spend $200 on a new router for fuck's sake? I was like, what? He said he's not live, so he's going to have his editing chops on, but you just went straight into the fucking merchandise. Oh, I love it. That's respectful.
Hey, man, that's what we do, bro. Like, shit. After a year and a half of doing this, man, I'm kind of a vet at this,
Yeah. Good. I love it. Well, look, don't be surprised if it happens again with Mick Moretti. You never know what's going to happen. So yeah, DMDU. You literally said they came out of nowhere, and then that's where it died on me. So please take the ball that you were running.
Like we're starting to see some, promotions that are really putting out some quality product. MCW in Melbourne, DMDU in Melbourne. Adelaide has Rampage and also RCW.
Yep.
As far as like once we get out of lockdown, do you think we're going to start seeing some cross promotion with PWA and some of these other promotions?
I'd like to hope so. Like I've already seen little bits and pieces of some of it coming up. I'm not fully privy to what some of those plans are, but I mean we've advertised DMDU. We've had an MCW show, kind of a match show at intermission. I know that we're kind of not enemies. We're friends with a lot of the people that are running these other companies. I don't see why there can't be. I'm not super business savvy, right? So let's not jump down my throat. There's obviously going to be extenuating circumstances when it comes to all of that, but I would love to see that kind of stuff happen because I'm the banner man of Australian wrestling. Look, don't fucking ever try and tell me otherwise. I've always been on board for that kind of shit. So yeah,
it could only make the product better though, right? Here,
that's it. Like all we're going to do is like that was. And I think we talked about this last time, was the whole purpose of the original You're Gonna Notice Us thing was, hey guys, let's all work together as a collective. And if we all repurpose this message, we're all reaching our own separate audiences, which is all different, but now going to be combined for all of us. So everybody benefits. That was the long and short of it, was all together, we strong. So
yeah, I mean, it makes it, and especially because like Australia is so small compared to some of the rest of the countries.
Yeah,
and I think as well, in a good part of that as well is we don't have to have necessarily too many people that shouldn't be involved in wrestling, if you know what I mean. Like we saw the speaking out movement last year, which affected wrestling around the world and was probably a much needed cleanup of the industry. But I think in Australia, it's like, well, if you're going to be a dickhead, word's going to get out that you're a dickhead. And it's only going to be, it's not going to be too beneficial for you.
Yeah, that's it. You got to check yourself, man.
Like I saw like one guy, I can't remember his name, and I'm not really wanting to mention if I could, but he made some sort of joke about I don't know if it was abuse or like something along those lines, and it was a pretty off-color remark. And I started getting messages from Aussie wrestling fans going, "Don't interview this guy," and I'm like, who the fuck you just? And then I started looking into him going, I don't want to interview someone like that. And I saw other people posting saying they want to distance themselves from that. And I think that in this day and age, jokes are one thing, but when it comes to when people are when jokes can be triggers for some people, you've got to be respectful.
Yeah, it's a fine line to tread, right? And we've all got to kind of work out what the best way to tread that line is. I understand the idea of certain characters wanting to be risky or edgy and that kind of thing. I get it. Okay, that's fine. But at the same time, you've got to understand what is and isn't too far, where the lines are. And I think that maybe a clear way of clarifying what is and isn't kayfabe or something, perhaps. Because I've always kind of thought to myself and thought out loud with people before, why, like there seems to be different standards in terms of what you're allowed to do in wrestling versus what you're allowed to do in other entertainment mediums. Like in film, a villain can be anything you want. There's terrorists, there's rapists, there's murderers. They say all kinds of shit that no human would ever want anyone to say. But in wrestling, a lot of you can't cover that. If someone plays that character, they're going to get not the right kind of heat. It's not going to be taken right. And even though they're both narrative, there's a separation there. And I think it comes from the closeness of wrestling. The difference between wrestling and let's just say theater or movies is, I think we as the people attach too much of ourselves to the character. We don't separate and say, yes, I'm playing a role. I mean, we are, but at the same time, we're too attached to it. So it's too easy for us to hide overlaps. And someone could say something crazy racist and go, oh, no, it's just my character, when really they're just a racist. But in movies, there's more separation. And in wrestling, you're dealing direct.
So, guys, we're just going to take a quick pause for the cause. Mick Moretti is always, got a lot of interesting stuff to say, guys. But also, guys, if you want to help us out, you want to make sure that you can support us, guys. Make sure that you subscribe to the Realm Network, guys. That's where you can catch all of our shows, get an exclusive first look, guys. You can also catch us on twitch.tv/MWA World. We do some amazing shows, guys, where we've got a lot of great content that's coming out. We've also got our NXT Roundup show with myself and Sexton. We've got Wrestling with Sports, which is dropping every single Tuesday at 8 p.m. USA Eastern, which is 10 a.m. Australian time. We've also got the Funkin' Kingpin show, which, let's face it, guys, the Funkin' Kingpin show is hosted by the Kingpin Angel Medina and Alan Kwee Funk. You can get that on twitch.tv/MWA World. You can also get that at MWA Podcast Network on all your podcast platforms, guys. You can also get it on our YouTube channel as well. But guys, if you want to go and you want to check out some of our back catalog, some of our shows that we've done, we have over 200 plus shows now available to you guys on all podcast platforms. I'm talking Spotify, I'm talking Google Play, Apple Podcast, Deezer. We've got it everywhere. We got it on Amazon, guys. So make sure you go and check us out everywhere, and make sure you're giving us a good subscription everywhere that you go to get some amazing content from around the world.
Yeah, welcome. Do that thing. This is ridiculous. Fuck me. Man. I spent money on new equipment and it doesn't work. I don't know where you lost me, but I was probably talking about like talking to the crowd, right? As a wrestler, you interact with the crowd directly, and in a film, there's that screen, so something's not as personable. So I think that's what we've got to realize, that as a professional wrestler, you're an entertainer, yes, you're a character, but you're someone that's so much more tangible to the audience. So that's why you've got to be careful where you step and what you say, so that, at the end of the day, we want the fans to escape. That's what wrestling is. It's escapism. We do it ourselves as a performer. It's escapism. I get to forget the fucking real world for a little while and be a crazy murder clown. Like, the fans want that same escapism. So we don't want to do anything that's going to draw them out of that and make them think horrible things again. So it is a difficult line, but we need to work together to find that. And if someone does something wrong, then we need to address that. Sometimes I don't think it always comes from a bad place or them being a bad person. Maybe they've just slipped up, and we just need to say, look, hey, maybe be careful of this and that because this is why. Sometimes they are just a scumbag, and we need to be like, get the fuck out of here. But
as you said, sometimes it's about just it's like, giving someone like educating someone. And I
100%.
think that, people can turn around and go, oh, well, I have depression and I have this. That's understandable. That doesn't give you carte blanche to turn around and be a dickhead to people. It doesn't give you a
you've
thing
got to
to
find
say
the balance,
offensive
man.
shit. And I think that some people do play that card when they do get called out on that shit. And that's something I've noticed, not just in wrestling, but in society.
Yeah, they probably do. It's also really hard, right? Because there's going to be people that are playing that, and you're not going to know any difference. Like, fuck, do we give them the benefit of the doubt? Don't we? Are they just some scumbag hiding that we just need to punch in the fucking face? Or is it someone who's just made a genuine mistake that we're just coming at a little too hard? Do we need to be a little more forgiving as well? And do they need to be like this? I think there's this middle ground that a few people need to meet at. When I say things like this is my logical mind thinking that it's not okay to abuse people. It's not okay to harass people. It's not okay to make people feel like shit. You need to be called out on that shit. And if you've done something wrong, sometimes don't just hide, I've got depression. Sure, heaps of us do. I've gone through my depression. I didn't go through a stage where I did anything like that to someone. Rather than hide behind that, maybe just come forward and go, yeah, you know what? I did the wrong thing. I shouldn't have done that. I'm going to understand why that's bad and work at being better. And then we need to turn around and go, that's exactly the kind of response we should have. We're going to support you in wanting to be better instead of condemn you at the same time. So there's a little give and take there where it's kind of like, accept that you've done the wrong thing. Don't just hide behind excuse. Accept you've done the wrong thing. Understand why it's the wrong thing. Be conscious of the steps you need to take to be better so that you don't make that mistake again. And then we can all come together and live in a big happy family and kisses and flowers.
Well, I think that comes with also maturity as well.
And, for sure, man.
And sometimes you look at people and it's like saying some of these things, like these guys might be in their early 20s. It's like, all right, well, when we were in our early 20s, it was a different time and we were probably talking all sorts of shit.
Yeah. I've said some awful things in my life, right? And nothing that I've ever said with any malice. It was a different world. I was young and I was stupid. And there are obviously things I would not say now. And if I could go back, I'd smack myself in the face, like straight up. But we need to be understanding of circumstance at the same time. But we've got to be super wary, because if we lend ourselves to being too understanding or too gullible, then that's when the fuckwits slip through the cracks, and none of us want that. So it's fucking hard, man. It's a really hard.
But I think as well, to make it to be a good heel as well, if you can go out there and get good heat and not like be insulting to the crowd, call them a bunch of fuckwits or whatever it may be, you can get genuine heat just for being an arsehole without being insulting or degrading. You
can be insulting and degrading to the people inside the narrative world. You know what I mean? Like, think of the crowd as a prop that doesn't belong to the narrative world that you're in. So don't insult them, insult their hero. Don't attack them, attack their way of thinking or their morals without saying it to them direct, so that they want to disagree with you, want to dislike what you're saying, but they don't feel like you're personally getting them. And then you're going to find a way to get some heat in that regard. Like, if someone loves Ricky South and I turn around and go, Ricky, you're a piece of shit, everyone's going to be like, how dare you say that to our Richard? You know what I mean? And I don't have to say that to someone in the crowd. You can dodge that bullet. Or there are other ways that if you want to include the crowd, because wrestling is so interactive and that can be a beautiful part of it, you've got to find ways to do so without being so directively insulting. Like, there are other ways to dance around that someone's not going to leave the building feeling like absolute shit. They're going to be like, wow, they really showed me. Sure, great. But they're not going to be like, fuck, now I feel like shit. There are definitely ways to do that. What I loved when I first went into the Rapscallion character and it was very heel based, my mindset was, I want to be the heel that people enjoy laughing at. You know what I mean? I want them to dislike me because they laugh at me. Like, I make a fool of myself in certain circumstances where they're like, da ha ha, and I'm like, hey, you shut up, I'll get you, and they're like, da ha ha, and it just lends itself to them like booing you and cheering the other guy and wanting you to make a fool of yourself. It's fun, it's jovial. And at the end of the day, I'm the only one who's, copping any flack. And I'll wear it. I put it on myself, so I don't give a shit.
Yeah, because you're in that character. You're in that moment. It's not like you look at yourself as, Mick the joke. It's like, well, no, this is the Rapscallion doing Rapscallion shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's probably the main important thing as well. It's a good way.
Think about the effect things that are going to have. And if you want to get a desired result, is that the correct result to go for? If that result is someone feeling like a piece of shit and feeling directly insulted, that's not the result you want. If the result you want is someone to disagree with you and dislike you, that's okay as a character, but maybe let's not go through that via the insult path. Let's find another way to get there. And it's just about finding the right path, because there's a million ways you can do it.
Well, it comes down to getting cheap heat, really. So it makes you, as a performer, work harder to get good heat. Yeah.
And I mean, that's a challenge for us as wrestlers now. Like, we know the limits now. We live in a world where you don't get away with as much shit anymore. So you've got to work smarter. You want to get that heat, then you've got to get it the right kind of way. And if you're not capable of doing that, then maybe you're in the wrong place.
100%. It comes down to just, and I think, you look at guys, in the PWA world, like your Sam Osborne, and as you said, Unsocial Jordan, these guys can come out and get booed out of the fucking building, but they don't say an insulting word to the audience. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, it's just, Osborne will come out, do his little shimmy or something like that, and people go, oh, look at this guy. Yeah. And then, Unsocial Jordan, who's like, no, you shouldn't swear, and, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And you got a room full of people drinking alcohol. What the fuck? Fuck you. You know what I mean? Like, just those simple things that generate that heat.
That's it. There are other ways to do it. What I love about Osborne is he every now and then he'll do something where he insults the crowd, but he does it in he condescends you, right? So you don't take it as this person, like you'll do something and he'll be like, oh yeah, good one, bro. And then do his thing. And you're like, that piece of shit. You know what I mean? Like it's not so direct, if that makes sense. Like it's perfect in the way that it works. It gets you get to be a part of the show, but it's not something that's like, fuck you piece of shit. It's like this perfect character beat where they know it's the character playing it. They can respond off that organically, and then they're just going to turn around and get him. So you get to blend those worlds.
And that's the thing, like when I had Vinny Vane on, he sort of told me when he's been his heel character, Vinny Vane, he'll go out and like if he has an interaction with someone in the audience where he's sort of had a bit of a back and forth with him, he told me after the show, he'll make sure to go up to that person, shake their hand, say, hey man, thanks very much. Thanks for being a part of the show. And it's like, he has that thing where it's like, okay, I'm Nathan now, not the character.
Yeah, right.
Thank you for being a part of it. And it's like,
that's fair play, man.
Therefore it's like not, he goes, because me as a person, I'm not a dickhead, but I'm being a character. You yell something out of me, I'm going to bounce off you. Like,
yeah. He kind of like he wants to make sure that they haven't taken it personally and that they understand that it was all part of the narrative that was going on.
Yeah, and I think that that's showing respect to your audience.
Yeah,
and
I can respect that.
Yeah, 100%. So,
I would like if I mean, fuck, I don't even know what my character is in terms of face and heel. I'm like an anti-hero. But like if I'm ever in a situation where I've done something and I'm like, okay, that I've said something or done something that I realize someone's taken aback to, or it's like, oh, that's gone too far, or I feel like in any circumstance like that's kind of hit harder than it should have, I'll do something similar. I'm one that's very much like, if you see me outside of wrestling, if we're cruising around, you see me down at Coles, you're like, are you Mick Moretti? I'm like, oh, what's up, bro? I'm me. I'm not going to be the fucking character. I'm me. But when you're inside that building, if you see me, I'm the Rapscallion. From the second you enter to the second you leave, I would like to stay as close to my character as I can. When I'm at the merch desk, there's obviously a little bit of give and take, but I want to give as authentic of an experience as I can in terms of that character. But in the situation where I was like, fuck, I know that I've upset someone, I'm going to break kayfabe. I'm going to come aside and say, hey, look, you know, are you okay? I want you to understand this was that, blah, blah, blah. Like I think it's happened like 3 or 4 times in my entire career. But I'm going to make sure that person's okay. I have this beautiful ability because my character's a fucking psychopath. Sometimes I can do that in character. I can stay in character, come back, and make amends with that person to get them to understand that whatever's happened wasn't directly at them.
Yeah, and that's an important part as well, because it's like you don't want to lose a member of your audience that's going to turn around and go, fuck this, why did I come here, you know? But
yeah, and it's like, for me, it's not even about losing them. Like, I'm happy to lose audience members, right? Like, and take that for what it is. If they don't want to come back, fine. You don't have to. That's fine. I don't want people to feel like pieces of shit. That's really what it comes down to. Like, I don't care if they stay or like, obviously we want people to stay. But at the end of the day, if someone's going to say, oh, we're not coming back here, then okay, if that's what you don't want to do, then fine. We will find more of an audience. But it's the reasoning behind that. And if they feel like shit, then that's what I don't really want. That's more the end game that I'm more focused on, is because I know what it's like to feel like shit. And I don't want people to feel like that, unless for some reason I think you deserve it. But that's not usually a lot of people.
That's the thing, when someone goes to a wrestling show, they shouldn't leave, like an audience member shouldn't walk away from that feeling that way. They should
exactly.
Be feeling,
and
wow, I had a great time.
Yeah, usually if someone doesn't leave thinking I feel like shit, they're probably not going to be like, well, I'm not coming back here. You know what I mean? Like, you got your Karens of the world, and there's not much we can do about them. But generally speaking, if you're not trying to make someone feel like shit, you dramatically reduce the chances of them not wanting to come back to your product. And for me, that emotional thing is more important than the money. But I'm not the business guy. I don't care about the income as much. Yeah, because it's going to come. And I have enough faith in our company that if someone was to say, I don't want to do this anymore, and they left, I was like, we'll fill our chairs with other audiences. Our product is wonderful. We will build an audience, and I have faith in that. What I don't want to do is make someone feel like a piece of shit.
Yeah, and that's really important. But one of the things I wanted to ask you, because one of the shows that I was at one of the Academy shows, was when you scaled the roof of the Academy, and this is after I think you and I had actually had the interview, and I've seen you climbing this thing, and I'm sitting there and I'm like going, this motherfucker, what the and I remember it being so hot, and I could literally see sweat dripping from you. I literally thought, fuck, this guy is gonna fucking slip and kill himself, and I'm gonna see Mick Moretti fucking die. I was sitting there like it's just like almost like sending you mental messages. Get down, Mick. It's not worth it. Yeah. And for that moment, I'm sitting there going, what the fuck? He's done this a million times, I'm sure.
Do you know how many times I practiced that climb?
How many? Really?
0.
Yeah.
I just said, yeah, I can do it. I did the.
Guys, we are going to take a quick second. Mick's internet is coming in and out, so I'm sure he'll be back very soon. But as I said earlier, guys, you can support us by heading over to twitch.tv/MWA World, giving us a follow there, giving us a subscribe there. You'll catch our 3 live shows every single week there, ladies and gentlemen. You're going to be able to get nights. You're going to be able to get Wrestling with Sports, our weekly sports show hosted by the Dead Presidents, Boogaloo, and Lowrider, and King Mega. You've got NXT Roundup with myself, Sexton, and also my boy. We have got the Funkin' Kingpin show hosted by the Kingpin himself, Angel motherfucking Medina. Oh, excuse me. And also we have that hosted by Alan Kiwi Funk. So guys, that's 2 guys that you're going to sit there that are completely uncensored, completely off the chain, off the cuff. So make sure you tune in for that one, guys. And also, guys, when you want to go and support us, head over to prowrestlingtees.com/MWA World. Pick yourself up some of our amazing merch that's over on Pro Wrestling Tees. We've got another merch store which is going to be debuting in the next couple of weeks, so make sure you get over and support us there as well. But Mick, he's finally made his return.
Swear to God. I swear to God. Look,
hey man, at least I get to get my shit in
1 hour. Get the fuck out of here.
I've been able to get my shit in. It's all good.
Good, perfect. Commercial break.
Exactly.
Sorry, man. It's not right. Usually quite this bad. I'm gonna have to refund this router.
But, so that match that you had, and one of the spots in that match, which I believe it was Paris and Jess Troy did the suplex on the back, which got the eyes of Mr. One Jimmy James Cornett, who made some very interesting remarks. What was the thought when you saw that, Jim Cornette making that statement?
Man, I feel like Cornett is one of the best workers in the business. I feel like, and maybe I'm wrong, maybe he's legit, but I feel like he's working everyone. And he doesn't really hate this shit as much as he tells you how much he hates it. Because every time he harps on about how much he hates something, all it does is blow up its views. All it does is fucking send it to the moon. And everyone's like, like even if you're hating on it or you're not, like he's giving you views. And I feel like the whole thing's a gimmick. So like I'm just like, whatever, man. Like exposure is exposure. I don't care. The guy's welcome. If it is genuine, he's welcome to his opinion. He's an experienced dude he's done his thing for a long time. He's allowed to have his perspective on things. We don't have to agree with it. So what? I don't agree with everything he says, so I'll just take it with a grain of salt. Whatever, bro. But I'm convinced it's a work. I'm convinced his entire presence is just a giant work that's got the entire fucking world full.
Yeah, look, no one can get that angry, but Uncle Vinny, he doesn't mean that. But yeah, I definitely agree. Like, I think that he overworks shit a lot of the time, and I think that that's probably why he has the audience that he has, because people want to see him rant and carry on like a fucking.
He's got his brand,
crazy old man.
He's picked his niche and he's rolled with it, and look how it's worked for him.
Absolutely, he's made a ton of money from it. But guys, it is that time of the show. It is time for 60 Seconds with Piers. Mr. Moretti has been warned about how this is going to go down, or briefed, if no matter how you want to do it. But Mick, when you're ready, you give me the Iggy and I'll get this thing started.
All right, baby. You ready?
Let's go. What sport did you play as a kid?
Soccer.
Favorite song to sing at karaoke?
Anything by Tenacious D.
Snapchat or TikTok?
TikTok.
One has to go. Game of Thrones, Lord of Rings, or Harry Potter?
Harry Potter.
The last show you recorded or downloaded?
One of the Justice League.
Would you rather fight 2 horse-sized ducks or 100 duck-sized horses?
100 duck-sized horses for days.
If you were given $1 million to start a business, besides wrestling, what business would it be?
Media and entertainment, video games, all that kind of shit.
plain fairy bread or fairy bread with Nutella?
Ooh, I've never had with Nutella before. Let's fuck with that.
Let's fucks with it, man. What would your autobiography be called?
What I did and what you shouldn't do.
If you could take all the credit for any film in history, what film would it be?
The Godfather.
Okay. How old were you when you found out about Santa Claus?
12?
What is the best gift you have ever received?
A PlayStation.
Name a gross meal combo that you like that no one else does.
Vegemite and pickled onions on a sandwich.
Oh. Would you rather appear on Home and Away or Neighbours?
Home and Away. Already have.
Oh, wow. Last one. In 5 minutes, you are being abducted to go outer space. What two personal belongings besides humans do you take with you?
My harmonica and my glowy dice. Because I'll annoy the fuck out of them and they're going to send me back home again.
There you go. That is time. Mick, thank you for being on Shooting the Shit Uncensored, man. It's always a pleasure to have you on. And
Thanks,
as
Piers.
always, man, you're always welcome to come back on. But where can everyone find you on Instagram, Twitter, and get some merch?
So merchandise, you can hit up. I'm on Pro Wrestling Tees if you search Mick Moretti, and I'm obviously on Wrestler Merch back here in Australia. I got shit on both of those websites. Hit it up. Let a brother get some money in lockdown. Yeah, that's it, baby. Rain on me. If you want my wrestling shit, it's full Rapscallion, Full Rapscallion on Twitter and Instagram. You want to know what I do when I'm not wrestling? Itza.me.moretti, like Mario. It's a me. You can find that on Instagram and TikTok as well. That's just mostly my day-to-day bullshit. That's about it, man. Like, don't expect much either because, you know, I'm just kind of chilling in lockdown right now. But you want to show me some love, show me some love. If you want, if you need designs made, I know how to design stuff, so hit me up. You know, you do your thing. Give me some love, I'll give you love back. You just want to shoot the shit, you just let me know.
That's it, man. Hit up Mick Moretti, give him some support, show him some love. But guys, Mick, thank you so much for being on. Guys, thank you for everyone who's tuned in, whether you're watching, listening us, whether it's on the Realm Network or the MWA Podcast Network. We appreciate you all. We love the fact that you guys tune in for us. And guys, until next time, we'll be back very soon. Make sure you support our sponsors. Get that health vape. Get that sleeves.com. And that, my friends, is a fucking shoot, kid. Peace.